Hi, Grandma Debbie here. So tonight for dinner, we're doing a recipe out of this cookbook. It's America's Secret Recipe, Volume 2. And we're going to be making Olive Garden chicken scampi. I love anything that is loaded with garlic, and scampi always has a lot of garlic. So I'm looking so forward to this. I'm going to be serving it over spaghetti noodles or angel hair pasta or something. One of those, whatever we happen to have in the pantry is what I'm going to be serving it with. But before we get started on this recipe, we have to roast some garlic. So we're going to do that first. So we're going to get going on it. Okay, so I'm going to be doing 2 bulbs of garlic. My stove is currently heating up to 350 degrees. So we're just going to cut off the top, and I've got lots of little papers here that are coming off. So we're going to just cut off the tops. We're going to put the first one on there, and then, whoo, man, is it ever potent. And then we've got another bulb. This one is flinging garlic all over the kitchen. All right, so now we got another one. And now what we're going to do is we're going to drizzle a little bit of olive oil over each one. So let me move this so you can see what I'm doing. And you just want to do a little bit. Okay, and then over the next one. Okay, and then I'm actually going to kind of mush it around. All right, and then I'm going to bring up the sides and scrunch it up at the top. I'm going to do that to both. All right, and these are now ready to go into the oven. We're going to roast them in the oven at 350. I don't know if I said that or not, but if I didn't, that's what we're doing. And we're going to roast them for about 45 to 50 minutes. And you'll know when they're done when the garlic starts pulling away from the skin. And that's when you'll know that it's done. All right, so we're going to get started on that. Okay, so the garlic was roasted and it's out of the bowl. So now we're going to start doing a little bit of prep work before we head over to the stove to finish up. So I've got 2 tablespoons of flour. And then in this bowl, I'm going to add in, I don't know what I'm going to add. I'm going to add 3/4 of a teaspoon of crushed red peppers. And then I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of Italian seasoning. Ooh, I'm getting low. I'm going to probably have to get some more. Okay, so we got that done. I have a cup of chicken broth. I need to get 1/2 cup, 3/4 cup of white wine. When it comes to wine, you can use whatever you want, whatever flavor you like. As long as if it's something you would drink, then you're able to use it. I usually like to go with more of a dry white wine. Also, if you don't want the alcohol content, there are some really good non-alcoholic white wines out there that you can use in its place, and I highly recommend that you do that. Now, we are also going to be adding in 2 tablespoons of garlic. Okay, so we've got that done. So now we're going to cut up our chicken, our bell pepper, and our red onion. We're going to start with the bell pepper. And then we're just going to slice this up into thin little slices. Okay, so we got that done. And now we're going to do our red onion. Okay, and we're going to slice it up as well into small little slices. Okay, so I got my bell pepper and my red onion, and now we're going to do the chicken, but I'm going to wash my hands real quick. Okay, I'm going to move everything out of the way. Now these are going to be sauteed up together, so I'm not going to worry too much about them being together. Now the recipe calls for 2 chicken breasts, but this is a ginormous chicken breast, so I'm only using 1. All right, we got our chicken breast done, and we got our veggies cut. So now we're going to head over to do the rest of the setup, but I'm going to clean up first. So I've got to wash my hands and clean this area. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to heat up some milk. There's this 3/4 cup of milk. So we're going to heat this up to get it hot. I'm actually going to change spots. And in this skillet, we are going to add in a tablespoon of butter. Guess I need some cooking utensils. And we're going to add in, we're going to heat the butter up. And then we're going to add in the flour. And we're going to cook for 2 minutes. And during this time, we're going to be stirring constantly. Okay, so I'm going to add in the flour. So we're just kind of making a roux here right now. Can you see it? I tried to get the camera angle to where you could see everything, but I was not successful. All right, I'm going to say that this has been about 2 minutes. I'm going to turn the heat off. All right, and then I'm going to slowly add in the warm milk. I'm going to turn this down. And I think a whisk might be a better job for this. Okay, so I'm going to turn this off, and I'm just going to move it over here to the back burner. And then I'm going to move one of the other pans over here. I'm going to wash my cup. Okay, so in this skillet, I'm going to start making the scampi sauce. So I'm going to heat 3 tablespoons of butter. And then I'm going to add in, you're heating this over low heat. And then I'm going to add in, I don't know what I'm going to add in. I'm going to add in garlic, 2 tablespoons of, it says crushed, I'm using minced. I don't have crushed, so minced it will be. Then I'm going to add in the Italian seasoning and the crushed red peppers. And then I'm going to add pepper, and it's as much pepper as you want. It's to taste. We're just going to mix this up a little bit. And then to this, we're going to add, I'm sorry, we're going to cook this for 2 minutes on low heat. Smelling good, guys. It's smelling real good. All right, and now we're going to add in our chicken broth. And our white wine. I'm using a Chardonnay. Okay, so we're going to bring this up to a simmer, and then we're going to simmer it for a half hour. So while that's going on, though, we're going to get started on the chicken and the veggies. So over in this this saucepan, we're going to add in, I don't know what we're going to do. We're going to add a little bit of olive oil. Then we're going to add our chicken. All right, so we're going to add our chicken. We're going to cook it just until it's almost done. And then we'll add the peppers and the onions. Whew, it's a little hot. Probably could have gone with a larger skillet. This is a huge chicken breast. It's hard to believe it's one breast, right? Oh, it's humongous. This chicken is cooking now. Alright, so I'm going to switch this to a larger skillet. I'm going to turn it off real quick. So I think I've managed to use every dish I own tonight on tonight's dinner. I'm going to stir this a little bit. I did turn it up a little bit. They said to cook it on low, but it's taken an awful long time to simmer, to even reach a simmering point. Alright, so chicken's almost cooked all the way through. Now I'm going to add the onions and the bell peppers. And we're just going to let this go until everything is soft and sauteed together and whatever else needs to happen. Okay, so we're just going to let this cook here, and I'm going to bring it back. Okay, so my noodles are done. I'm just leaving them sitting for a while. I'm going to go ahead and add the garlic to this, and I'm going to turn up the heat just a tad bit. And then I'm down to the 1 minute mark for my Scampi sauce. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to let this sit here getting warm. Okay, so we're going to add in the white sauce that we made. So this is what it looks like. We're going to add it in, and I'm just going to whisk it. Let me turn this off. And I turned it off. I guess I did not. Okay, so we're just going to whisk this until it starts to thicken. So earlier when I was stirring this, I hit the handle of the saucepan and it almost went tumbling down the front of me. That would have not been a good thing to happen. Probably would have meant a trip to the emergency room. So all I can say is when you're in the kitchen, please, 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 please be careful. Now this recipe is definitely a labor of love. So don't think that you're going to come home from work and whip it out, because unless it's like you're planning on a late night dinner, because it takes some time. And you just I want to see what the recipe says. I think it says till it's lightly thick. And it says till it's slightly thickened. Now it hasn't gotten to a slightly thickened point yet. Whoops, I'm going to move that out of the way. You just also want to make for sure that there's no lumps, because nobody wants lumps in their sauce. Now, if I was thinking, this would have been really good with some garlic bread, but I wasn't thinking about bread. I was only thinking about getting this made. So turn this, or move this around a little bit. Okay, I think it's starting to thicken up. So I'm going to turn it off. And I'm going to add it to my pan over here. Get all those little goodies out. Lots of little goodies. So we want them all out. And I'm going to turn this up because I want everything to be heated through. And I want it all mixed together. Okay, I'm going to drain my noodles, and the dinner is ready. So I just want to thank you for coming along with me on this journey. I hope this is something that you try. And, like I said, though, do it on a night that you have all the time in the world to make dinner, because it's a labor of love. All right, well, I hope that your day is going great and everything's going amazing for you. Hit that like, hit the share, and hit the subscribe button, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.